With Pro Tools open in Studio 2, we are going to look at setting up a Talkback channel and also how we route to headphones. There are some very slight differences between Studio 1 and Studio 2. So there should be some similarities there, so hopefully it'll make some sense. So first of all, to create a Talkback channel. In Studio 1, there's very simply a button on the desk, on the C24 desk, that allows us to talk back to headphones instantly. It's very slightly different when we're using the S6 in that we have a talkback button on the desk, but we must route it to a headphone channel first. So I'm going to create a track, and I'm going to create a mono auxiliary input, because we don't need an audio track because we're not actually going to record the information that comes in on the talkback channel. I just want it to be an aux input so that I can just communicate with an open audio line over the headphones should I need to. So one mono aux input, create. Here we are, there's our aux input. I'm just going to jump to the mix window so that we can show you the routing a little bit easier. So first of all, our input and output routing. So in the I/O section, in the inputs path selector, we're going to select a section of the interfaces. Now we've obviously got lots of channels of audio that can come in from our Avid HDX interfaces and also our Focusrite RedNet. But you'll see here that there is a channel named Talkback. And that's because we've hardwired one of the inputs on one of the Avid interfaces to have the Talkback channel routed through it. So if I select that, I know that when I initiate the Talkback button on the S6, that my communication from the mic is going to go through to that channel. Now there's another section that we need to check, which is actually as part of the Bantam patch bay on the left-hand side of the S6. It's normally left wired. I normally leave it hardwired, but it's basically the cable that takes the Talkback out to the input of the Talkback channel on the HDX input here. So that should normally be wired up. If for whatever reason your Talkback isn't working, then quite simply you need to connect the Talkback out to the HDX32 input that we've renamed Talkback. Once you've checked the input routing, you then need to assign an output so that the Talkback can be routed through a headphone channel. Now it's important here that we don't have our Talkback go through the stereo output. If you leave the Talkback set to go through the stereo out, then you'll get a feedback loop where the Talkback microphone, which is placed on the surface in the studio control room, that microphone is placed right next to the monitor speakers. So as soon as you turn the Talkback mic on, you will have a feedback loop. So you need to change the output before you turn the Talkback mic on. So I'm going to select the output path selector and choose an available headphone path. Now I normally use one of the final headphone paths that are available to us, just so it makes easier for musicians who are setting up their headphone mixes on numbers 1 sequentially upwards. So if you use one of the last channels for a headphone Talkback, then it makes it so much simpler. You can set that up at the very beginning of your session and then leave it. It will be set up then for the entirety. So select headphone output 16. You can see that when I initiate the Talkback button on the desk now, that there is some level that comes up as I'm talking, and that audio signal is going directly to the headphone output 16. So I don't hear it come back through in here. We're not creating a feedback loop in the control room. That signal is going directly to headphone channel 16. It's then up to you guys to check on the Avium headphone units that audio is being passed through channel 16 and is clear for the musicians to hear. You can then disengage the Talkback button and the signal disappears from the Pro Tools window. Finally, just to make sure that you don't get yourself caught up, rename your aux channel Talkback.